you, John Scully, is that you're not one of those old school boxers that thinks that every old boxer is better than the new boxers. You've actually kept up with the sport. Like you actually, there's, Jimmy is a little old school like this and there are those that think, we all know that Duran would still probably be lightweight champion right now. And that Hagler would be would be a welterweight champion right now. There's certain fighters that would translate and just dominate. We all know those, but where the sport is on the grand paradigm of time. And
right. Well, I'll say something that a lot of people are going to disagree with.
Go ahead.
And they're gonna say that I don't know what I'm talking about. And it would be a big deal to them for me to say this. But looking at it logically, realistically, as I know the game and as I picture these guys actually physically in the ring with each other. Now, the 1970s is maybe the greatest era for heavyweights. Like that mix of guys together created just such great memories, right? And people say, oh, the guys today suck compared to them. I said, listen, are you honestly going to sit there and tell me Vladimir Klitschko couldn't beat Ron Lyle or Jimmy Young or Ken Norton? Are you really going to tell me that Tyson Fury wouldn't beat Jerry Quarry? I mean, are you people insane? Like, you can't.
Who could beat Tyson Fury other than Lennox Lewis or possibly Larry Holmes? Like, who could beat him?
I mean, I think the prime Ali beats everybody because
Ali's 212 and we're talking about a 200.
Listen, he was 250. Listen, but Ali was
an underdog for all of his fights, and
it's like the body shot. He was magic.
It doesn't matter. He would get absolutely destroyed by Fury, and anybody who says different. I mean, respectfully, he's 212. He was an underdog back in the day. That's a different weight class. You're talking about a 65-pound difference in human beings. It's not that Ali wasn't a better fighter. It's just not fair.
Then how do you say like Chris Bird, 208? Listen, Chris Bird, I'll tell you what Chris Bird told me himself. Chris Bird weighed 208 as heavyweight champ, and he beat some good opposition. He beat some monsters. He beat good guys. Like even when he fought Klitschko, one of the fights he won by injury or something. He was doing extremely well. Like he was doing very well. Chris told me himself, he said, I could have been light heavyweight the whole time. I didn't do road work. I just ate whatever I wanted. And I fought heavyweight because I knew my upper body head movement was going to be too much for most of those guys. Ali at his best. I disagree. These guys are going to have, and they've had problems with smaller guys. Like I say, Klitschko had all kinds of problems with Chris Bird, and Chris Bird was a light heavyweight. He told me himself, I could be 175, no problem.
I love arguing with somebody who knows more about the sport than me, so I'm going to start a fight with you. But you and I both know styles make fights, right? There's only two heavyweights in history in the top 10 that we talk about: Lennox Lewis and Larry Holmes, that are 245 plus.
Larry Holmes
was not that big.
No, he wasn't.
Larry Holmes was 240, 245. Wasn't he?
Maybe at the end of his career.
He's a fat fuck later. Well, he was probably 235 when he was in shape, 245 later.
No. Look it up.
All right, let's look it up. Larry Holmes' weight.
Look it up when he fought Jerry Cooney. Look it up when he fought Ken Norton. What do you weigh?
I'm going to say over and under. He was under 220.
Larry Holmes.
Yeah, look at what he weighed when he fought Ken Norton.
Are you serious?
Under 220.
Larry Holmes' weight, age, weight, 72 years old. That's not going to be.
No, look up the fight. Google the fight with Ken Norton. It'll have the weight. It'll have everything.
He's in his 70s. That's like you and I talking about us where we're at our.
What do you mean? He was heavyweight.
He was in his prime. He was not a big heavyweight.
You're talking about him at 45 years old. I'm talking.
Cooney was bigger. Cooney was bigger.
So you're thinking Larry? I thought Larry Holmes was like 235, 245. No.
Well, you were wrong.
He was smaller. So Larry Holmes is off. So Lennox Lewis right? So he's gone because we're talking about different. I mean, Tyson Fury is.
Let me say this:
is a
Ernie
freakishly
Terrell. Ernie Terrell
big
was 6'6". Ernie Terrell was 6'6", heavyweight champ, WBA heavyweight champion. Muhammad Ali had no trouble at all hitting him with. He didn't even hit him to the body. Muhammad Ali hit him 5,000 times in the face with no trouble.
This Larry Holmes, 254 pounds is the if you go into Google right now and put in
that's
Larry Holmes
current.
weight.
When Larry Holmes won the title, he was like 211. Stop.
Google is wrong.
I'm just saying
Go,
for the record.
listen, go to the fight when he won the title. He was like 211, 212.
I trust me, I believe you on that,
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I'm not calling it any way
Larry
bullshit
Holmes
on that, but
boxed that.
254 late in his career.
Yeah, and he was fat.
He was a big fat man. But again, I mean, so was Ali. Ali was really, really svelte at 215, and then he became a fat fuck and became beaten by everybody. I mean, he wasn't. And even when he was at his premiere, he was an underdog to everybody and just came back and won. I mean, Ali's story is like a Rocky story. It's like an underdog story of a supreme boxer that's always underrated, that comes back and wins, and then he becomes a fat fuck later in life and starts losing. True or false?
No,
I'm trying to fuck with. I know. I know. I know. I'm just.
I'm getting ready to freak out over here.
I had to
Holmes, Larry Holmes was 209 when he fought Ken Norton, who was 220.
Yeah, he would get the shit kicked out of him by Fury.
But no, wait a minute. 5 minutes ago, you had him beating these guys, like, and now you found out.
I think Fury beats every single heavyweight in history.
But you just, until you found out what he weighed, based on what you saw, you had Larry Holmes beating the guy.
No, I had Larry Holmes as having a chance at 254.
Right, but now all of a sudden,
that Larry Holmes has a chance of getting in the rings with a 200, because you need to have a man who's at least within 20 pounds of the weight class. That's a big dude, like a 270 pound 6'9" heavyweight. It's not fair to put a 6'2", 215 pound man in the ring.
But like, you would have to realize how much faster Muhammad Ali would be than these guys. Like, it would be unbelievable that, like, they're able to look at Tyson Fury looked great against Wilder, who is also a big guy and really tall and everything. Well, try hitting. Look at Jimmy knows. The toughest sparring you're going to have, the toughest competition you're going to have is with a really good guy who's a lot smaller than you. That's who's going to give you the big problems.
You know who beat the worst beating?
Pull the microphone away from there, you man.
The worst beating I ever took in sparring was Bones Adams.
There you go. There you go.
That motherfucker, he was 30 pounds lighter.
Right. There you go.
Every fucking thing but the kitchen sink.
I know my stuff. There you go. Look at I boxed. I'll say this much. I boxed two cruiserweight champions, right? One of whom I had a little issue with. Like, it was kind of a personal thing, right? I had no problem boxing these guys at all. They couldn't touch me. I had my biggest problem was a guy who weighed like 152, 153, and I was, super middleweight. He was 153, and he was the guy because he was so fast, so slick, so sharp, but he hit hard. You know what I mean? So, you try to, it's one thing to say, yeah, I could beat 19, and I'm not talking about later. I'm not talking about Ali, who didn't even train, and he fought Ron Lyle and these guys. I'm talking about Muhammad Ali, who fought Cleveland Williams and Zora Follett.
He can
We're
win
talking
on
about
points.
a supreme fighting machine.
Yeah, when Ali fought Cleveland Williams, that fight, he's so fast. I mean,
and he put the punches together. He looked like Roy Jones. Like he was putting 7-punch combinations like lightning.
It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. So who do you think translates? So when we're bridging the gaps between the then and now, you started talking about the 70s and the 80s. So you were talking about how you get in trouble for your opinion on how this works. I believe, my personal opinion is, we're looking at one of the greatest times in boxing history, period, right now. I think we're looking at some of the best fighters. The youth coming up and fighting, from Shakur Stevenson. Beterbiev is a little older, but he's just a savage. You've got you've got so many. You've got Ennis, Jerron Ennis Boots is just.
But here's there's two issues. Like, I agree with what you're saying, but here's the two issues.
Yeah.
Apparently, regardless of what they say, these guys don't want to fight each other. Like, they're not. You don't see these guys like, Muhammad Ali went to Sonny Liston's house in the middle of the night and called him out from the front lawn. He wanted to fight. These guys are trying not to fight each other. And the other thing is this, and this is just the way it is. The level of you have some great competition, right? You do. Gervonta Davis, these guys are good, right? Yeah. But there's not a lot of them. There's not a ton of them. The number of guys, like right now, I'll give you a perfect example. Right now, today, this minute, right? September 2022, you say to me, who are the best middleweights? And I would say, I guess Canelo, Triple G, and I'm being honest, I can't think of any others. I can't right now. I can't think of anybody. I don't know at that level. Now, if you say to me in the mid 1980s, who were the best middleweights? I go, well, Marvin Hagler, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Don Lee, John Collins. Wait a minute. Robbie Sims, Mustafa Hamshaw, Bobby Chez, Fulgencio Mejias. I mean, Buster Drayton. How many more do I have? I could name 20 more. Frank Tate, Michael Olajide, Aaron Barkley, James Kinchin. You know what I mean?
Barkley might be, as late as he went, he might be champion right now. You're right.
Right. But my point is, today, I only know two middleweights, and one of them is a super middleweight. He goes down to middleweight. I don't even know what weight he's fighting at tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, there you go. Charlos, and but I could name 4 times as many guys from 30 years ago. You know what I mean? So there's not as many good fighters today. And look, people hate when I say that, and people say, oh, everybody thinks their era was better. I go, listen, in the Golden Gloves, in my first year of the Golden Gloves, which was 1984, in my weight class, and I'm talking about local Golden Glove, not national, not regional, just local, there was 16 guys in my weight class in my first local tournament, right? This year, in the same tournament, you know how many there were? 2. Jeez. There was 2 guys. They waited to the finals, and these 2 guys fought each other. Back in my day, we had to go through 16 guys to find out who the champion was. There's not as many fighters to choose from. So you're going to get higher up quicker because there aren't as many guys to wade your way through. It's just, and I'm not hating. I don't want it to be this way, but it is the way it is. And I even read a thing not long ago where they said, and this is mind-boggling, but it's obviously true. They said in whatever the year was, 47, 1951, whatever, they said there were more professional fighters in New York City than there are in 2022 in the entire United States. Look it up. There were more fighters in one city than there are in the entire 50 states. It's a different day. It's a different era.
Just like comedy and entertainment in Hollywood is watered down, you're saying that boxing's been watered down by the pussification of America.
Well, because the lack of, kids are doing,
parents are pissed off. Yeah.
But how many kids are doing TikTok videos and, and there's not as many, there's not as many gyms, and we're getting soft. We're giving out participation trophies and we're doing that kind of thing. So, people can get mad at me, but it is what it is.
Hey man, these guys train. They got their phone
pull
in
it
the
away
corner.
From your face too. Yes.
These guys train. They got their phone in the corner and they update their Facebook status in between.
Right. And their mitt work. Hold on.
Right.
Let me show you my gym. I'm actually in the gym. I'm waiting for my guy to come and check it out. This is
Dude, that's a nice looking gym, bro. That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. Great colors. Great. It looks hardcore. Like it's actually real compelling. It makes you
I'm
want
gonna
to be
show you,
there.
Mike. If you know, I don't know if you ever heard of a guy named John Callis, but he's a referee. This is him. He owns the gym. He's a referee. Does fights on HBO. Hey, John Callis, can I put the gym on live? I'm being interviewed on a live show. So Trinity College boxing team right here. Trinity College is a very high-end school. It's right around the corner. I'll be there in like 5 minutes. So that's the gym, and we got a nice program here. And
A couple of those kids look like they're autistic.
Yeah. Those kids in the ring were actually the college boxing team from Trinity College.
Don't fuck with autistic kids, Jimmy. They'll kick your fucking ass, dude. Trust me. My daughter is an angry autistic child.
John didn't get my joke.
Yep.
I think I missed it. I didn't hear it.
I said a couple of those fucking kids look like they're autistic. The way they were throwing the jab.
Yeah. They're college kids, you know.
John, how do you put a guy like Shakur Stevenson back in history? Like, you know what I mean? You laid out how it's watered down right now beautifully. That's the best explanation I've ever heard on why the sport has been watered down, not by wussification, but by numbers, mathematically.
It's simple, you know, like, let me just reiterate one thing or point something out. Like, so in other words, to be a champion of the Golden Glove, say, you know, you don't have the depth to go through. So you can reach the nationals and a higher level with less experience and less competition on the way. So you're not going to be iron. You're not going to be as hard as you need to be. Now, with that being said, I would say there's, Triple G and Shakur Stevenson. Of course, these guys can fight in any era. They're gonna. People say, "Oh, Shakur Stevenson will get wiped out." I go, "Come on, the guy's good. I mean, he's very good." But by the same token, you take Alexis Arguello at 135 pounds. I don't know. I don't know if these kids are going to be standing up to Alexis Arguello.
Yeah, there's a couple here and there that have lived real hard lives that have become gym rats for real that could probably stand in any era. But to your point, you're making it a fucking amazing point historically, mathematically, and culturally that back in the day, there is a real argument that these fighters had to go through more to get.
Well, listen to this. I'm going to give you, this will be the even better example. Okay. Hypothetically, say you're a super middleweight light heavyweight in Hartford, right? Back in my day, so say the mid 80s. If you drop in on me in 1985. Now, as a super middleweight, I could box with anyone between 147 and 175, right? Sparring. If I needed sparring, I could go within a 5-mile radius in Hartford, and I could box with Marlon Starling, Troy Wortham, Papa Figueroa, Muhammad Shabazz, Khalif Shabazz, Brian Sims, Marcus Jackson, Tyrone Booz, Nick Mejia. I could name you 30 more guys. Terry Say, Anthony Daly, Robert Perez, Robert Murray. I could name you 35 guys in 1985 that I could spar with. Today, right now, in 2022, if you are a super middleweight or a light heavyweight in Hartford, you know how many guys there are to box with?
4.
One. A guy named Richie Rivera. He's a light heavyweight. He just fought Badu Jack on the show in Saudi Arabia or somewhere a few weeks ago. He's the only guy in Hartford right now. There's no one. Zero.
That's the most incredible. Like, first of all, that's mind-blowing. Name a fighter you're not associated with that we should be watching, because I know you've got to go work apparently. But name a fighter we're not associated with that the audience doesn't know about, that you're just going, this kid has the goods. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, there's a and now my mind went blank. The kid's name. There's a kid.
I fell in love with Bam Rodriguez a while ago, and he's looks fantastic. He's fighting on the card this weekend. Is the co-main event. Yeah,
man. I'm gonna tell you something. There's a kid, and I hope his name comes to me because I just met him for the first time at Arthur's last fight in New York City. And this kid's a super middleweight. I saw him in the amateurs. He turned pro. I think he's with Top Rank. Man, I can't remember his name now. It just slips my mind. But he's really good. And you probably have never heard of him. I'm sure.
Have you seen Kid Austin fight yet?
I have not. No.
Put that one on your radar. Have you seen Xander fight yet?
Yeah. You know, these guys
got some skills.
Yeah, of course. Skills. Yeah. There's some good kids. And like you say, I mean, you got that weight class with Ryan Garcia and Tank, and I mean, these are some. If these guys had the mentality of the '70s, they'd be trying to fight every day of the week. It would be amazing. And I always go back to Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard, between November 1979 and September of 1981, less than 2 years, fought Roberto Duran twice, Wilfred Benitez, and the killing machine Tommy Hearns. Come on. I mean, like, come on. You know, who else?
But then he made us wait a long time for Hagler.
A little away from your man.
You know, who do you see in one weight class that would, you know, snatch all these guys up and try to fight these guys? I mean, it's amazing. It's an amazing thing. And you know, I'm not seeing that. You know, last time I saw a guy really willing to fight anybody, in my opinion, other than, you know, Holyfield, but James Toney.
Well, you're seeing it with Bam Rodriguez right now. I don't know if you watched what that kid's doing, but you know, he was nobody a year and a half ago, and he's like, "Oh, you want a championship fight with 11 fights under your belt?" He's like, "I got it." And then you fight 3 months later. You want to fight 3 months? Hey, you want to fight under the undercard of the Canelo fight? He's like, "Yeah, I'll be co-main event." Doesn't give a fuck.
I love those guys. I love those kind of guys. Yeah, I love those guys for sure.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. But dude, thank you for joining. I know you have to work. Just spending time with you and fighting with you about shit that I don't even really agree with is so much fun for me. It's such an honor because what you do in the ring before this career. For those that haven't watched, go watch a John Scully fight. You'll see the best rat tail, some of the best defense, and one of the toughest motherfuckers ever.
Hey, it was hot back then. Dude, I was sharp back then.
The fact that you don't have it now, I wasn't kidding. My son, I want that rat tail. I started looking. I Googled John Scully rat tail. Nothing came up, and I was so disappointed because that should
the
be
Henry Maskey fight. If you look at the pictures, but let me tell you, I'll tell you a quick story.
It's the best ever. Yeah, go ahead.
Now I got a better story. Now, when I fought Maskey was 1996, and I had it grew back, right? I had it in 1993. This is how I met James Toney. They told me I'm going to training camp with James Toney, and he plays a lot of practical jokes. He does a lot of crazy stuff. He shaves people's head. I'm like, what? So it ended up being a crazy 5.5 weeks. But my first day there in the Poconos, him and Jimmy Griggs, they shaved my tail off. They cut my tail off. Blasphemy. I didn't know them. I didn't even know them.
Yeah.
And they cut my tail off. And I was literally holding it in my hand because I had beads in it. It had beads, right?
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
I was literally holding it in my hand. James Toney cut it off.
And what did you do to get it back?
Oh,
I know you got it back.
Listen, I went in his room, and all his expensive sneakers, I filled them all with shaving cream. Yeah, and we did all kinds of stuff. Like it lasted.
It's funny. Those are probably those original Jordans that are now worth like 25 grand.
Yeah. No. We went ballistic for 5 weeks. It was out of control.
Scully, I love you to pieces, man. Really, you're a gem in the sport. What you do outside the ring to help fighters. Go do your thing, and thank you for blessing us with the time. Man.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
God bless you.
All right, guys.
Easy, John. Thank you.
Yes, sir, guys. Be good.
Bye-bye. Led the legend, John Scully. So much fun to talk boxing with him. We should make this a normal thing. It's just fun, right?
You kiss his ass the whole fucking time. You disagree with me. about
Dude,
the same thing.
I fought with him about some stuff.
Then he says the same shit that I say, and you agree with him.
Which part?
Yesterday's fighters being better.
Well, he made a great case. Like he actually mathematically laid it out.
He's
I was
smart.
going to disagree with him, but when he lays out, how many fighters are in Golden Gloves, how many fighters are there to spar with, how many fighters are there to train with, I'm a math guy. Like all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit. I get it now.
Right.
When he laid out that there were more fighters in New York City at that time than there are nationwide right now, I went, oh,
isn't that a great statistic?
wow, fuck. Like now I can kind of say, yeah, that's a big stat. Like that's kind of like a mic drop moment for me is
So fucking deep.
all these old fuckers like you that are saying back in the day, it was
mic drop.
It was harder. It was now mathematically, if you just run through the numbers, it was harder. Now there's a few, because iron sharpens iron. You got to come out of that, up top, but there's a few in there that would have made it back in the day that could have played in that era. Fury's just a mathematical anomaly because he's a big giant person.
He's a little bit like Ali. They're what is that saying? The whole is more than the sum or something like that. He's just like he's fucking magic.
He's 6'9", 280 pounds and can really, really box. Right. And he was brought up in the gypsy community where they would literally travel around and bare knuckle each other.
Right.
That's not, there are those exceptions to the badass, rules. And as the economic conditions collapse, the great news for our podcast is that as economic conditions worldwide collapse, you're going to see more fighters. You're going to see more fighting, and you're going to see more quality come out because things have been so good worldwide. The wussifications happened, and mathematically there have been less fighters. You're going to start to see more people because what's an easier way to make money than to go step up and fight somebody? It's right. Easy money. Jake Paul learned that.
Economic hardships brings fighters out.
It brings the fight out in people. So what a great episode. I enjoyed that. So yeah, I'm not kissing his ass. I actually believed he made a mathematical case that I just couldn't fight with him about. It was
nice. It was nice to hear from him.
It really was, man. Let's try to do that more often. This weekend, man, big fight. Let's leave on a note of talking about this weekend's fights.
I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of doubt. I mean, there's a lot of questions to be asked for both fighters. Yeah, I think Triple G's on his way out. I think Canelo could be on his way out. You got to give him a second chance.
I think Canelo's going to win the fight because he's proven in history that he's come back from adversity better. And he's going to be motivated, even though he has, people to massage his balls. If he has an ache in his testicular area, he's got the money, but he wants, as pride, he's a winner. He just got embarrassed. He doesn't want to be embarrassed twice. He's going to be motivated. He doesn't like Triple G. I think he's going to come out. We're going to see the best of him that we can at this point in his career. I'm really excited to see Bam Rodriguez as the co-main event defend his title. And I think we see a good. I'm going to buy it. $69.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. And we'll reconvene. Let's reconvene next week. But I think we've done some good things here tonight, Jimmy.
Right on, brother.
Good stuff, man.
I'm just happy
that alive. Is Oscar
still
with us?
Fucking amazing. This fucking dog now. This is 7 months ago. He had this major stroke, couldn't even fucking move.
Yeah.
And he drags himself to the door now so that he can be outside in the grass to take a piss.
Let that be a lesson to everybody who gives up on life. Oscar is actually an inspiration for
Oscar's
life.
still doing it. Still fucking doing it.
All of us need that inspiration, man. We all do, because that's the type of energy you got to adapt. If you can't move, get your ass and drag your ass outside and make your life better. That's the way life works.
That's right.
God bless you, man. Thank you for putting together the Scully interview, and we'll do it again next week.
God bless you, brother. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. God bless the Queen.